Imagine for a moment that the very foundation of your faith has been hidden from you, intentionally erased, not by accident, but by design. What if I told you that the truth of the Israelites' identity, the real story of God's covenant with his chosen people, has been manipulated and suppressed for centuries? The empire feared what would happen if the oppressed truly understood who they were. You see, the Book of Jubilees was deliberately excluded from the Bible, not because it was false, but because it spoke of truths that were too powerful, too specific to be allowed to spread. It connects the descendants of the scattered Israelites to a divine prophecy that is unfolding before our very eyes. It's a message of identity, restoration, and divine justice for those who have been oppressed, scattered across the earth, and forgotten by the world. But what if this hidden book, this powerful text, is the key to unlocking a divine truth that's been buried beneath centuries of manipulation? Is it possible that the Book of Jubilees has been suppressed because it holds the story of the black Israelites, the descendants of the very people who endured slavery and exile, yet were destined for restoration? What does that mean for you and me in this present day? What if, just like those scattered tribes, we are waking up to the divine purpose and calling that's been hidden from us? In this video, we will uncover the Book of Jubilees, a book that the empire tried to erase, and dive deep into its prophetic message about the awakening of God's chosen people. You will learn why this ancient text was silenced, and how its powerful truth directly relates to the return of the lost tribes of Israel. We will explore how this book speaks not just to history, but to our lives today, how it calls us back to our roots, to our heritage, to the covenant that God made with his people long ago. So if you've ever wondered about your true identity, your place in God's plan, or the mysteries hidden within the pages of the Bible, this is the video for you. Together, we'll discover the Book of Jubilees and the divine awakening that is happening right now. This truth is more than just ancient knowledge. It's a living, breathing reality, and it's calling us to remember who we truly are. I invite you to leave a comment below. What part of this story resonates with you the most? How does this truth challenge the version of history you've been taught? And if you feel moved by this message, make sure to like and subscribe. Your support is not just a click. It's a sign of your connection to this divine journey, a reminder that we are not alone in this awakening. The Book of Jubilees, why it was erased. For centuries, a powerful truth has been hidden, obscured, and erased from our history. It is a truth that connects us to the divine covenant, a truth that speaks to the deepest part of our soul. And yet, for too long, it has been buried beneath the weight of empire, manipulation, and deceit. This truth is the Book of Jubilees. It is a book that has been intentionally removed from the Bible, not because it was false, but because it was too true. It was too specific, too exact in its account of God's covenant with his people. A covenant not with an institution or an empire, but with a specific people, the children of Israel. The Book of Jubilees is filled with genealogies, divine laws, and prophecies that trace the true identity of Israel, confirming a divine promise of restoration. But the truth it carried was one that the powers of the world, especially the Roman Empire, could not afford to let stand. It spoke of a people who would be scattered, who would endure captivity, but who would return, restored to their rightful place in the divine plan. It wasn't a comfortable story for the empires that sought to control religion, so they buried it. They labeled it apocryphal, calling it unnecessary, just another book to be ignored. But the Book of Jubilees was never truly lost. It was merely hidden, waiting for the right time to reveal the truth once again. The Roman Empire, particularly under Constantine, reshaped Christianity to serve imperial needs. Christianity became a tool of power, a religion that had been molded and sanitized for the empire's agenda. They shifted the faith, stripping away its Hebrew roots, replacing the Hebrew calendar with the Roman one, and even changing the Messiah's identity, whitewashing him to fit their narrative. The Book of Jubilees resisted this. It refused to bend to empire. Its truth was too powerful. It didn't allow the empire to sanitize history or deny the people of Israel their rightful place in God's divine plan. So the empire suppressed it, and for centuries, the truth about the scattered tribes of Israel was lost. But now, as the Book of Jubilees resurfaces, the truth begins to shine again. The scattered tribes of Israel, particularly the black Israelites, are awakening to their true identity. The book speaks directly to those who have been oppressed, those who have been enslaved, those who have been forgotten by the world. It reminds them, and all of us, that we were never abandoned. The divine covenant was never broken. It was only hidden. The Most High promised to restore his people, and that promise is being fulfilled today. The lesson here is clear. Truth has a way of resurfacing. No matter how much the powers of this world try to suppress it, truth will always find its way to the light. The Book of Jubilees was never irrelevant. It was simply waiting for the right time to reveal the true identity of the chosen people, to remind them of their divine heritage and their unbreakable connection to God. It is a call for those who have been scattered and oppressed to remember who they are, to reclaim their place in the divine story, and to walk in the fullness of the promises that were always meant to be theirs. Rome's manipulation of Christianity and the erasure of truth. The history of Christianity, as we know it today, has been deeply shaped by the influence of empire, especially the Roman Empire. The Book of Jubilees wasn't the only casualty of this imperial manipulation. From the moment Rome seized control of Christianity, it began to reshape the faith to fit its political agenda. What was once a message of liberation and spiritual freedom was transformed into a tool of control used by emperors to maintain their power and influence. The church became an institution, and in the process, the true message of Christianity was altered. When Constantine embraced Christianity and made it the state religion, he did not do so out of a desire to spread the gospel. He did so to unify his empire and consolidate his power. Under his reign, the cross, a symbol of sacrifice and liberation, was transformed into a banner of imperial dominance. Christianity was no longer about the oppressed being freed from bondage, but about the empire maintaining control over its people. The true essence of the faith was distorted, and the Book of Jubilees became a casualty of this transformation. The Book of Jubilees did not align with Rome's agenda. It spoke of a people who would be scattered, oppressed, and exiled, but who would one day return. It was a message of hope, yes, but it was also a message of divine justice, one that threatened the empire's hold on power. The book traced the bloodlines of the Israelites, identifying them as the chosen people, and it reminded the world that God's covenant was not with institutions or empires, but with a specific people. The Roman Empire couldn't afford for this message to spread. If the oppressed ever realized their true identity and their connection to God, they would rise up. And so, the Book of Jubilees was buried, cast aside, labeled as unimportant, and ignored by the powers that be. But in doing so, Rome did not succeed in erasing the truth. The Book of Jubilees remained, hidden away but not forgotten. The divine promises contained in the book were always meant to be remembered. As the Book of Jubilees resurfaces in our time, it calls us to remember our true identity, our divine heritage, and our place in God's plan. It calls us to reclaim the promises that have always been ours. This awakening is not just about recovering lost history, it's about reclaiming our future. The Book of Jubilees reminds us that we are the children of the covenant, that we are the heirs to divine promises. These promises have never been broken, only forgotten. As we begin to remember, we are called to rise in the fullness of our identity. to walk in the power and authority that God has given us from the beginning of time. The empire may have tried to suppress the truth, but the truth is breaking through the darkness. The lesson here is one of divine justice and restoration. The empire may have altered the course of history, but it did not change the divine plan. God's promises to his people are unshakable, and no power on earth can erase the truth of who we are. The Book of Jubilees is the key to understanding this divine restoration. It speaks of a time when the scattered tribes of Israel will return, when the oppressed will be restored, and when the promises made to our ancestors will be fulfilled. This is not just history, it is prophecy unfolding in our time. As we begin to understand the Book of Jubilees, we also begin to understand our place in the divine plan. We are not lost. We have been hidden. We are not forgotten. We have been waiting for the moment when God would reveal the truth and restore us to our rightful place. The time for that restoration is now. The Book of Jubilees is the key that unlocks this divine awakening, and as we embrace its truth, we are called to walk in the fullness of our divine inheritance. This is the return of the lost tribes, the restoration of the covenant, and the fulfillment of the promises made to the children of Israel. The Black Israelites, their identity and awakening. As we journey deeper into the truth hidden in the Book of Jubilees, we encounter a profound reality, the identity of the Black Israelites. For far too long, this truth has been suppressed, hidden in the shadows of history, manipulated by those who feared the power of remembrance. But now, the scales are falling from the eyes of those who have been scattered, exiled, and forgotten. The Most High is awakening his chosen people, the Black Israelites, to their true identity, their divine inheritance, and their place in the unfolding story of God's kingdom. The Book of Jubilees was not just another historical text. It was a divine proclamation, a covenant between God and a specific people, the descendants of Shem, the children of Jacob, and the scattered tribes of Israel. The book is a roadmap of the journey these people would take, from suffering to restoration, from captivity to freedom. For centuries, this truth was hidden, ignored, and erased by the empires that sought to control the narrative. But it is now coming to light. The Book of Jubilees specifically speaks to the Black Israelites, the descendants of those who were sold into slavery, exiled across the world, and stripped of their heritage. This book is a message of restoration. It is a prophetic declaration that the Most High's covenant has not been forgotten, and the descendants of those who endured the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade are waking up to their divine calling. The awakening of the Black Israelites is not just about remembering the past, it is about reclaiming the future. The Book of Jubilees reveals that their suffering was not a curse, but part of a greater divine plan. Their exile was not a sign of abandonment, but a reminder that the Most High has never forgotten his people. The time for their return is now. As the scattered tribes of Israel begin to remember their true identity, the world will witness the fulfillment of prophecy, the restoration of God's chosen people. The awakening of the Black Israelites calls us all to remember who we are. It challenges us to look at the truths that have been hidden for so long and to reclaim our divine heritage. The lesson here is clear. No matter how far we've strayed, no matter how long we've been scattered, we are never forgotten by God. His promises to us are eternal, and he is calling us back to himself. As the Book of Jubilees reveals, this awakening is not just about the Black Israelites. It is a call to all of us to remember our true identity as children of the Most High, to rise up in the fullness of our divine inheritance, and to walk in the promises that were made to us from the beginning of time. The prophetic return, the fulfillment of God's promises. As we continue to explore the truths revealed in the Book of Jubilees, we begin to see that this ancient text is not just a history lesson, but a living prophecy. The book speaks of a time when the scattered tribes of Israel would return to their true identity and fulfill the divine promises made to their ancestors. This prophecy is unfolding before our eyes. The Most High is calling his people back to himself, and the time of restoration is now. The Book of Jubilees outlines a divine plan that has been in motion since the beginning of time. It speaks of a people who would endure suffering, who would be scattered across the earth, but who would one day be restored. This restoration is not just about physical return to a land. It is about a spiritual awakening, a reclaiming of the divine identity and purpose that was always meant to be theirs. The prophetic return of the scattered tribes is happening right now. The Book of Jubilees has been hidden for centuries, but now it is being revealed to those who are ready to receive it. The awakening of the Black Israelites is the first sign of this great return. The Most High is bringing his people back to their true identity, to the covenant that was made with their ancestors. But this restoration is not just for them, it is for all of us. The Most High is calling all of his people to remember who they are, to return to their divine inheritance, and to walk in the fullness of the promises made to them. This prophetic return is not a distant dream, it is a present reality. The Book of Jubilees speaks to us today, urging us to recognize our divine purpose, to embrace the fullness of the Most High's covenant, and to walk in the power that he has given us. The scattered tribes of Israel are not lost. They are being gathered, restored, and awakened to their divine calling. And as this prophetic return unfolds, we too are called to rise, to remember our true identity, and to fulfill the divine purpose that has always been ours. The lesson here is powerful. The Most High's promises are never broken. No matter how much time passes, no matter how much history is rewritten, his covenant with his people stands firm. The Book of Jubilees is a reminder that the Most High's plan is always unfolding, and the return of the lost tribes is part of that plan. As the scattered Israelites awaken to their true identity, the world will witness the fulfillment of prophecy. And as we too remember who we are, we will walk in the fullness of the promises made to us. The time for our return is now. The Book of Jubilees has shown us the path, and the Most High is calling his people back to himself. We are not lost, we are awakening, and as we rise, we will walk in the divine purpose that was always meant to be ours. The Most High's promises are true, and the prophetic return of his people is here. Let us rise up, remember who we are, and walk in the fullness of his love and power. The time for our return is now. Let us walk in the light of his truth. The Ethiopian Bible. Preserving what was hidden. In the vast and ancient land of Ethiopia, a treasure has been safeguarded. A treasure that contains not just the words of faith, but the keys to reclaiming the truth of God's covenant with his people. The Ethiopian Bible, a sacred collection of 88 books, stands as a living witness to a truth that was hidden from the world for centuries. Unlike the 66 books of the Western canon, the Ethiopian Bible holds within it the Book of Jubilees, an ancient text that reveals the true identity of the lost tribes of Israel, the very people who have been scattered and oppressed. It is here in this Bible that the Most High's promises to his people are remembered, honored, and preserved, even when the world sought to erase them. The Book of Jubilees was never truly lost. For centuries it lay in the shadows, buried under the weight of empire and manipulation. Yet the Ethiopian church, untouched by the same forces that shaped the Western world, preserved these texts. Ethiopia, with its deep roots in African Christianity, kept the full truth intact. When the Roman Empire sought to erase parts of God's word, especially those truths that spoke directly to the scattered tribes of Israel, those truths that revealed the true identity of the Black Israelites. It was the Ethiopian church that protected these words. The Book of Jubilees, the Book of Enoch, and other texts that were deemed too dangerous were carefully preserved in Ethiopia, where they remained untouched by the hands of those who sought to control and manipulate the faith. Why was this so crucial? The truth in the Book of Jubilees speaks of a covenant between God and a specific people, not just an institution, not a universal church, but a people, the descendants of Shem, the children of Jacob. This covenant was never meant to be diluted, erased, or altered. It is with the Israelites, the children of God, the people who would endure suffering but be restored. The Book of Jubilees revealed that the Israelites' suffering was not a sign of divine rejection, but part of a divine purpose, a purpose that would be fulfilled in the future. It is this message that the empire feared, and it is this truth that the Ethiopian Bible preserved for us. In this sacred Bible, we see a full picture of the divine plan. The Book of Jubilees and other hidden scriptures provide details of the Israelites' exile, their suffering, and their eventual return. These books connect the story of the Black Israelites, those who were enslaved, scattered, and forgotten by the world, to the promises of God that never ceased to be. They are the people who were exiled across the oceans, separated from their roots, but they are not lost. The Book of Jubilees reminds us of this. God's covenant with his people is eternal, and his promises will be fulfilled. The preservation of these texts in Ethiopia was not an accident. It was divine intervention. The Most High ensured that the truth would remain hidden for a season, but he also ensured that the truth would never be completely erased. It would be preserved in places where the empire's reach could not extend, where the power of imperialism and colonialism could not silence the voice of God. Ethiopia, as one of the oldest Christian nations on earth, stood as a sanctuary for the truth of God's word. And it is from here that the awakening is now spreading. The Book of Jubilees speaks directly to the Black Israelites, to those who have suffered under oppression, those who have been exiled and scattered across the globe. But this awakening is not just for them. It is for all of us. The Most High is calling all his people to remember who they are, to return to the covenant he made with them, and to walk in the fullness of his promises. As we embrace this truth, we are not just uncovering our past, we are reclaiming our future. This truth, once hidden, is now being revealed to the world. The Book of Jubilees is calling us to recognize that we are not separated from the divine plan. We are the descendants of those who were promised restoration. The scattered tribes of Israel are waking up, and the Most High is bringing his people back into his fold. This is not a distant dream. It is happening right now. As the Book of Jubilees and other preserved texts are uncovered, we are witnessing the fulfillment of prophecy. The restoration is here, and it is time for us to claim our place in the divine story. The Book of Jubilees is not just a record of ancient history. It is a call to action. It is a reminder that we, the descendants of Israel, have a divine purpose that has not been forgotten. The Most High's promises are unbreakable, and his covenant remains. Through the preservation of these sacred texts in Ethiopia, the truth has been safeguarded, and now it is up to us to reclaim it. It is up to us to remember who we are, to understand our place in God's divine plan, and to walk in the light of his promises. The lesson we learn here is one of divine preservation and awakening. The Book of Jubilees was not lost. It was hidden for a time, waiting for the moment when the world was ready to receive it. That moment is now. The truth is being revealed, and it is calling us to rise, to awaken to our true identity, and to fulfill the purpose that God has set before us. The Most High has never forgotten his people. He has preserved the truth for such a time as this, and it is now our time to claim it, to walk in it, and to fulfill our divine destiny. As we embrace the truth of the Book of Jubilees, and the preservation of these sacred texts in Ethiopia, we are reminded that the journey is not just about discovering the past. It is about reclaiming our future, restoring our divine heritage, and walking in the promises that have always been ours. The time for the scattered tribes to return is now. The truth is awakening, and the Book of Jubilees is the key to our restoration. Let us walk forward with faith, knowing that the Most High has already prepared the way. We are not lost. We are found, and we are called to rise and fulfill the promises that were made to us long ago. As we come to the close of this powerful exploration of the Book of Jubilees and the hidden truths of the scattered tribes of Israel, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what we've uncovered today. The Most High's promises to his people were never broken, even when the world tried to erase them. For those of us who have been oppressed, scattered, and forgotten, the Book of Jubilees speaks to us today with an undeniable truth. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are part of a divine covenant that has withstood the test of time. The Most High has always known who you are, and now, in this moment, he is calling you to remember. This is a call to action, not just to reflect on the past, but to reclaim our future. The time for the return of the lost tribes of Israel is now. As the Book of Jubilees has revealed, we have a divine purpose, a divine inheritance that has been waiting for us. The scattered tribes are waking up. The children of Israel are remembering who they are, and they are stepping into the promises that were made to them long ago. This isn't just a story from the past. It is a living prophecy, unfolding right before our eyes. If this message has stirred something in your heart, if it has opened your eyes to the truth of who you are, I invite you to be a part of this movement. Every share, every comment, every like is a powerful reminder that we are not alone in this journey. We are a community of believers, rising together in the light of divine truth. If this video has brought healing to your soul, or if it has helped you find clarity and hope in these uncertain times, I ask you to support this channel. Your support, no matter how small, means the world to me and ensures that I can continue bringing you these messages of truth and restoration. The Most High's plan is unfolding, and we are all called to walk in it. The Book of Jubilees has shown us the way. It has revealed the divine covenant, the promises that have always been ours, and the path of restoration. As we awaken to this truth, we are not just reclaiming our past. We are stepping into our future, one filled with divine purpose and power. We are part of something greater than ourselves, something eternal. If this message has resonated with you, if you felt the light of truth shining through the darkness, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below. What part of this truth has awakened your spirit? What do you think about the Book of Jubilees and its message for today's world? Let's continue this conversation, share our experiences, and support each other as we rise together in the fullness of God's promises. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who has taken the time to listen, to engage, and to be a part of this journey. Your support is a blessing, and I thank you from the depths of my heart. May the Most High bless you, keep you, and guide you as you walk in the truth that has always been yours. We are not lost, we are found, and together we will rise, reclaim our divine inheritance, and fulfill the promises that were made to us from the beginning of time. Thank you for walking this path with me. You are not alone. We are the children of the covenant, and our time to rise is now. Let us move forward together, walking in the light of his truth, embracing our divine purpose, and claiming our place in the eternal story of God's people. Let the Most High's truth be our guiding light, and let us walk boldly in his promises.